They were two desperate scavengers in a no-man's land of radiation and death, living in a kill or be killed world. Can they find a new life and hope? Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Ambar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Fritz Leiber's The Night of the Long Knives. The Night of the Long Knives is a 1960 novella by Fritz Leiber. It is a first-person point-of-view encounter with a woman, or at least that is how it starts. It is a post-apocalyptic story set after nuclear fallout. Our narrator, is thinking about the encounter with this woman, and in fact we get a few pages of his preparation to meet the stranger as they approach each other. This is, set in the slag and ruin-covered Deathlands, where radioactive dust reigns. This figure is mad, just like everyone is apparently in the Deathlands, but his narration is very lucid and well done. The main character is sort of an animal, with urges to sleep with or kill other humans they encounter. They rarely speak, but there is a sort of ritual to their actions as well, though. That's why this encounter is so interesting, along with how much time Leiber is in the character's head. The story could have been much shorter, but not nearly as entertaining, and I found Leiber did a similar thing in something like The Big Time. This is not the 19th century, it's sometime, the 20th century. It is sometime in the future, and presumably sometime after nuclear war. People are changed. Besides madness, they have weapons in place of hands, weaponized teeth, and so forth. What I have come to expect of post-apocalyptic settings like Mad Max, I'm not sure exactly where post-apocalyptic stuff got started. I'm sure it was before this, of course, but 1960 makes sense for a post-apocalyptic setting. It is during the Cold War, after all. There is a third character, actually, that joins later on. We do learn all of their names eventually and can glean some of their past lives before the nuclear wasteland formed, but it's a great look at surviving humans that have at least a sliver of a semblance to humanity still in them. And this last part is a hopeful tone that's notable in all the weird and bad of the story. Beyond that, there is a fun sense of humor, which is pretty typical of Leiber anyways. This was, again, written during the height of the Cold War and is named for an event actually from the 30s, in Nazi Germany. So there is sex in the story. It is Leiber after all. It's not graphic, but it is there. The things that would have been more surprising in 1960, besides the sex, is that radiation scars, scar areas rather, or whatever, turn people on. And that instead of skeletons, the Deathlands is riddled with preserved corpses, since the radiation killed all the bacteria that would, decompose all the skin and stuff on a body. Beyond the horror elements that seem obvious when I mention this stuff, there are some sci-fi elements like anti-gravity. Friendship with the worry that any of those friends could suddenly try to murder each other is also a theme, I guess you could say, in this novella. Apparently it's about 42,000 words, which, again, it makes it technically a very short novel or a long novella, depending on who you ask. It is in the public domain, actually, as far as I'm aware, and was originally in the January 1960 issue of Amazing Science Fiction Stories. And what's cool is that there are actually some epigraphs in this from Swinburne, which epigraphs are cool, and Swinburne is cool as well, so that's a double cool right there. And as always, I'm a big fan of Leiber, for those unaware, but I actually think this is quite a good story, and it's really short, and you might enjoy it. Maybe it's a good place to start with Leiber even. So anyways, it's Liam Williams Lyceum. I will catch you next time.